Hello and welcome back to Coffee with the Cassells. This is episode 5. Is that right? Yep. Episode 5. Hopefully you've been enjoying it so far. If you have been enjoying it, obviously we normally say this at the end as well, but I want to put it at the start. Like, share, subscribe, get that bit out of the way, and yeah, keep listening. Let's dive into today's topics.
Right, so do you want to go home Hyrox, HQ or HQ home Hyrox?
I don't care.
HQ.
Okay.
HQ, let's talk about the gym.
Okay.
What's going on?
So right now we have recently just wrapped up obviously the 6 weeks games, which we spoke about on the last one or the one before, which was a massive success. And what we try and do is we try and keep everyone kind of on their toes a little bit and keep them focused on something. So we always have this big thing about having a goal beyond the goal. And being happy but never satisfied, and we kind of live by that, don't we? So the new thing that we've done, so obviously we've just wrapped up the games. We are now launching our new kind of summer challenge. I don't really like calling it like challenge type of thing, because I feel like that sometimes get a bad rap for being a quick fix, but it's like our version of a 12-week summer challenge, if you like, where we flipped it on its head. It's no longer like a one-size-fits-all. We tell you, it's like get a six-pack in fucking 6 weeks. It's you tell us what you want to achieve and we make you get there.
Yeah, I think it was important for us to start to challenge the kind of industry norms when it comes to this time of year. When it comes up to summer, usually it is like you get loads of pictures of like before and after pictures, and I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. We use before and after pictures as part of to celebrate the client's wins, but also to show the client, their progress, rather than potentially always using the scale or measurements, because that can have a lot of emotion attached to it. But I think physically seeing changes in the before and after pictures is really motivational for a lot of our clients, and we use them as part of our message to potential new clients to showcase what they could achieve. And I think that that's amazing, but I think that it's completely distorted by the idea that you join a gym and you do a diet for a certain amount of time for one set point in time. So like, for example, the summer challenges,
6 to 8 weeks.
It's like 6 to 8 weeks or 12 weeks to get to that bikini body or to get that summer shred.
It's always like summer and Christmas in it.
To get the abs for, what did I write the other day? Abs for the, shred for the sunbed. Shred for the sunbed.
So saying they just use that,
But the reason why I was writing it was for our weekly email to go to the clients to say we're trying to challenge these norms. But anyway, I suppose that's the thing, is that we're just trying to be different, and being different is really difficult to market. I mean, I've never seen our post plummet so bad in terms of reach and engagement as these ones have for Triform 25. However, we're taking a stand, and we're setting a standard for ourselves that long term we want to be known as the gym where it's not just about getting the perfect body for your summer holiday. Like, fitness isn't a fad, as I've said before. It's about a full year long thing of consistency and dedication to lifelong changes and lifelong habit changes that are going to give you health longer down the line. And I think that's the message here for Triform 25. I think the try for us is about 3 different challenges or 3 different goals. The first one being some sort of running challenge. This year we've opted for a 5K. And then the second one is some sort of strength challenge.
Whether that be pull-ups, compound lift, bench, squat, deadlift, that kind of stuff.
And then the final one that we've opted for is almost like taking your body composition measurements in order for you to see the progress but not focus on it.
Yeah, it's the first two of the most important things, and then the last one comes a kind of byproduct. Like, so if you focus on, and like, that's not to say like, because everybody in our group doesn't necessarily have like a running goal, or like, do you know what I mean? Like they don't have, you know, this thing where it's like, oh, I want to do like a 10k in this time or whatever, but allowing them to focus on, take their focus away from the measurement side of things, focus more on performance. I think that's the thing. It's like, if you looked at it that way, it doesn't matter the goal of running or the goal of like the strength-based stuff. The overall goal is actually like kind of performance. Like if you put it under that umbrella, it's performance first, and then the aesthetics will come. You know what I mean? The body composition will naturally just come with that. And the beauty of that is it no longer becomes that like fast, intense, 6 to 8 week fucking restrictive, you know what I mean, like extreme nature diet type thing, like, because I mean I've got experience in it as well, where I done like an 8-week challenge thing. It was like a competition which I won. That
was during COVID.
Yeah, during COVID, and it was 8 weeks, very, very intense. Like,
yeah, you were the worst person to be around.
Yeah,
you made me feel like absolute crap, and that's not because of you, that was because of me. But you restricting yourself so much on how much rice you could eat, or how much
I remember having an argument nearly every night
have.
because I didn't want to have an ice cream, but you wanted an ice cream, and then I was making you feel bad because you wanted an ice cream, and then you'd fall at me because you wanted an ice cream, and I said no, so you'd spit the dummy like a fucking 4-year-old child.
I mean, that's terrible because I wasn't supporting your goal at that time, and I fully understand that now. But at the time, and for anyone who is in like a male-female partnership especially, I think that males usually can eat a lot more than females, so it is quite annoying when you're eating more and then your partner's not eating as much as you.
No, but you're saying that, but then even at that 8 weeks thing, I wasn't eating a lot.
No, but you were miserable.
Yeah.
You were miserable. You maybe looked all right. I wouldn't say that you were my type, my cup of tea.
Fucking won, so I must have looked better than all right.
But you were ripped. All that happened was you depleted all your water retention at the end and just absolutely popped all your muscles.
The last 2 weeks was like, the hardest 2 weeks I ever had to do. Like, I was on, to put it into perspective, to give you an idea, it was like I was on 1,200 calories.
It was extreme.
And I was on 1,200 calories. I had to do 6 hours of cardio every week and 5 hours of strength training every week. And yeah, it was grim. And then the last week, we done the water manipulation, which is basically flooding your body with the water and then stripping it right back.
And then where did you take your photos?
Up the loft. So it was in COVID. So this is a funny thing, right? And I'm still proud of that, by the way, because in a way, I'm proud of it because the competition was in lockdown, right? And obviously it was all home workouts and stuff that I was doing for a start. So the shape that we got in, despite obviously where we were, like I was sitting on fucking one of the exercise bikes in the room, like for my cardio and stuff like that. So mentally it was like a challenge as well. And I done my pictures up the loft. I put a bed sheet up the loft, and it was freezing. I always remember that, it was freezing when I took my pictures. But there was some people on it that actually got like a proper photo shoot done. Like they had booked out like a gym and they got a proper photo shoot, and yet I still took it. But it was horrible. It was actually like, so the whole point in that chat is like to just basically talk through that we have been there, we've done it, and I'll be honest with you, in that time that I'd done that, in particular the last 2 weeks, like I would say like probably the first 4 weeks I actually felt quite good.
Yeah.
Like, because obviously I did lose a wee bit of weight, or like, you know what I mean, I just felt more energetic because I was more switched on my food rather than it being, you know, peaks and troughs in my food where it's like
high sugar,
big
crashes.
Big crash, and then the next day like kind of focus on better nutrition, but then that only lasting like a day, then going back to the high sugar type thing. So it was like peaks and troughs all the time.
So it felt a lot more consistent.
So yeah, so
it
did feel better energetic wise. Like I was eating a lot more veg and fruit and that, which I don't normally do, you know that. And so I did feel better for it, but the last 2 weeks I would say was the ones that would really start to break me a bit. And it's mad, right, because obviously we spoke about like kind of social media and stuff like that, and like I remember putting the pictures up when I won it, and it was mad the amount of like praise and like all that I was getting. Like it was like kind of overwhelming. Like, it was like fucking like 400 likes or something on this like one post. I'd never had that before in my life, like that amount of engagement and that amount of like people messaging saying like, oh, you look amazing, you done well in that. But the turning point for me, right, was when I went into the gym. So when the gyms reopened, I worked in Glasgow Club at the time, and the gyms reopened, and I remember there was a 20 kilogram dumbbell. Now, like, before I done that thing, I was like strength training that, my deadlift was quite high and stuff. And there was a 20 kilogram dumbbell on the floor, and I had to move it up to the rack. I fucking struggled, and it was a 20 kilogram dumbbell. I remember then deadlifting, trying to get back into strength and deadlifting, and my deadlift at the time was like 220 before I actually started that challenge, before the gym shut and stuff, and I struggled with 130, like struggling with 130, and I thought, yeah, you might look the part and stuff like that, but for me, like, it wasn't for me. I know it's for some people, it's not for others, but for me, my biggest thing was, why would I try and make myself go to that extreme nature again to look a certain way for a holiday or whatever, or a competition or whatever, whereas if I actually just looked at it in year-round fitness, like, where could I be? And I'll be honest with you, that's what I now focus on. Obviously I do the Hyrox side of things and stuff, but this is probably the fittest, the strongest and the healthiest and happiest I've ever been. And I'm not extreme natured that way anymore. Like, I focus on performance. If I'm running faster, I know I'm on the right track. If I'm lifting heavy, I know I'm on the right track. It's no longer about aesthetics, but the aesthetics comes with it. So even if your goal is body composition, you want to drop body fat percentage, you want to increase your muscle mass, focus on performance, focus on strength, focus on getting, faster, fitter. Like, because honestly, it's a complete game changer. It totally flips your mindset, and then see through time and consistency, your body just naturally like shifts and changes it in the way that you probably aspired it to be and go. Like, I think it also shifts
it also shifts your mindset towards like your like overall like body image and how you feel about that. Like, I think for me, one of the biggest things since and for some people who don't know, obviously with my second pregnancy, I was diagnosed with gestational diabetes. So therefore, it was that decision between having to get insulin, like having to get a medication.
So it wasn't really a decision, really, was it?
Like, it was either that or I focused really hard on my nutrition, and the focus that I went on was nutrition. I reduced all my carbs down to 150 a day. And I just started dialing into having a much more balanced,
you were just more in control,
variety of diet. I rarely tracked, but I knew exactly what was in all my foods. And then, like, because of that, between having Harper, between having Molly, then Callan, and now, like, I'd lost 12, 14 kilos, I think. I fluctuate between that. But then on top of that, like, I'm the strongest, fastest, fittest, healthiest I've ever been. Because yes, okay, at first it was focusing on my health. That was the most important thing, because when you have that scare, when you're told like this is going to impact your birth, it's maybe going to impact your baby, long term it's going to increase your risk of having type 2 diabetes. So all these things at such a young age, like then going, oh my goodness, I can be in control of this just purely through my nutrition, was enough for me to adapt all of that and to feel comfortable with it, and then to take my focus away from it being body image to it being health. And then once it was to my health, once I had the babies and then came back to the gym, now it's about performance for Hyrox. It's about me being able to do my 5Ks and my 10Ks, to be able to come and complete the sessions, and then to ultimately, like, I do want to beat my times in Hyrox, and I do want to be able to run beside you and improve our like doubles times, etc. So because of that, like, I am body composition wise a lot leaner, and I don't worry about my weight and aesthetically how I
would
look.
definitely say, like, from my standpoint, looking in on you, it's like your confidence levels in terms of your body composition are massively different. Like huge. Like, you came in, obviously it's like sports bra stuff now, do you know what I mean? You're not afraid to wear certain things, where I think before you were like self-conscious in a way.
Massively.
Which I think everyone
And
is.
everybody is.
Like,
but I think this is the purpose of Triform 25. It's about us challenging that mindset and maybe that preconceived opinion of yourself, firstly, or that opinion of what others might think of you. And then just kind of challenging that and going, actually, I'm going to be able to do either my first ever 5K, which I've never done before, or beat my last 5K time in the next 12 weeks, or, you know, do a Hyrox for the first time I've ever done it, you know, and we're going to simulate that for clients who have never done a Hyrox who maybe want to try it.
yeah.
And then also like even something as simple as like pull-ups. Like we do pull-ups on bands in the gym, so by us reducing the bands and people seeing that strength come, you know, as a female, when especially for me when I look at my Instagram feeds and I can see loads of athletic women doing pull-ups or full push-ups, it looks really cool, and you think, I want to give that a go. So why not set a challenge over 12 weeks to be able to achieve that? Yeah, or just to improve on where you were before. And I think that's the purpose of Triform 25, and we'll build on that year on year.
You also get a better sense of accomplishment if you focus on that. Like this is something to consider as well, right? So something I said in a previous podcast that I was on before, and if you take this home away, right, is if you're doing, like, I'm not saying summer challenges that are bad, right, because sometimes it's just that wee kickstart that you need to then push on and do something for you. However, if you are just focusing purely on aesthetics, right, I want you to imagine like your dream body, let's say, right, of where you would like to be, right? So for me, for example, it was always like that six-pack, that shredded like six-pack, and that I always wanted to have a holiday. Even like our wedding, I wanted that. And you said to me, you're wearing a three-piece suit, who the fuck's going to see it, right? And that was one thing, right? But the other thing that I want you to consider is, right, so if you are sitting and you want to make that your goal for summer or whatever, and you want to be like a six-pack, or you want to make the leanest you've ever looked, picture that dream body, right? And the next time you go on holiday or think back to previous holidays, how many people, like, because everybody, like, there is a wee sense of vanity in there, right? Like, everybody does it because they don't want to have that, like, oh, people looking at me, right? Like, but think back to a holiday. This is for everybody, right? Think back to a holiday, or when you're next on holiday, take a minute when you're sitting in the pool, right? And count on your hand how many people look the way you want to look, have that dream body. You don't fucking see it. You might see one person that you go, I want to look like that. But it doesn't, do you know what I mean? So
it's just that reminder that everybody is so different.
Well, it's also like if you are just focusing mainly on aesthetics, right, there's always going to be something that, like, I remember doing that competition, and like, as we said, like, it was the most ripped I've ever been in that. I sent my picture to my coach and he was like, your delts are like needing a wee bit of work now. So if you're focusing on that, you're never going to be happy if that's all you focus on, because you're just going to look at the next thing and go, that's shit. Oh, that's shit. I need to then improve on that. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if you're focusing on performance, like, for example, if I tried to look from an aesthetics point of view the way I used to think about things, I would now look at myself and go, oh my God, your legs are tiny. Like, you need to hang your legs. Or I'd go, like, you're looking too skinny, or, do you know what I mean? Whereas now I just thought, I don't care. Like,
kind of run fast.
If I'm running fast, if I'm moving these sleds fast, if I can wall ball, you know what I mean? If I'm, like, hopefully getting better at burpees, if I'm still number one in the ski every race, that's all that matters. So, but that's just like an exercise you can do where if you're so driven on aesthetics, because it can be hard, like, but obviously with media and stuff like that, we are told to worry about what we look at, like how we look and what the weight is and stuff like that.
It's on our screens every day.
So yeah, we're so focused on that, and that's been like that for years. Like, even if you look at magazines and stuff like that before social media, it was always about like drop weight, drop weight, drop weight, drop weight. Look at that, look at this, look, do you know what I mean? Look like this, look like this person, look like this person. So if that is like still in your mind, take that minute to then just think back. The last holiday we were on, how many people looked the way you wanted to look? And once you got there, if you got even close to that, what was your sense of accomplishment? Did you go on that holiday and then because you started putting a wee bit of water retention, etc. back on, you felt a bit shitty again and then started to panic? and didn't enjoy their holiday. How many times have you heard people say, oh, I went away on holiday and I've put a bit of weight on? It's the first thing they say. And it's like, did you enjoy your fucking holiday? Do you know what I mean? Whereas if you actually focused on performance, you could go away and go, by the way, I fucking crushed 8 pull-ups. I'm going to enjoy my holiday. And then I'm going to go back and see how many more I can do. Or like I chased that like fucking 100 kg in the bench.
But then what you usually find is actually, do you know what? I'm in the best mental state. I'm in the best physical state. I was able to do 50,000 steps because you always do triple the amount of steps when you're on holiday. I was able to run after the kids in the kids club.
I was even the feeling,
what I mean?
It's just feeling more active.
I was able to swim in the pool and do like the volleyball games in the pool. Like all these things are just the biggest success as putting on an outfit, which you probably will look and feel better
it's a byproduct
anyway.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I think that's why we're trying to focus on Triform 25 and setting a standard for what that is and moving forward. And also it's going to be a consistent thing. So I was talking about this in the staff meeting the other day. Like now our year is planned out. And so as a member, as part of Cassells Fitness, yes, we're going to throw in like little surprise bombs throughout the year. But our general year is going to be from January to March time. It's going to be, we'll have a lot of new members most likely in January, February time. So it is going to be focused on, nutrition and habits and, getting that routine back and maybe losing a bit of body fat percentage. And then after that, then the focus is the games. The games is for 6 weeks was just incredible. The buzz about it was amazing. And then after that, for this full summer, it's about Triform 25. And the beauty of it is that if you go on holiday for 2 weeks halfway through it, when you come back, you're coming back to be a part of Triform 25.
You still get that challenge.
It's not like you're going to come back and have lack of motivation, you probably will have that, but it might be
it'll kick you on it,
kick you back.
It's not like you've done like an 8-week thing leading up to your holiday and then you come back your holiday and you've got absolutely nothing.
No plans, nothing.
You've got something that you still need to work towards.
Over the full
and
summer.
And to be fair, the holiday, like if you look at it that way as well, I always say to clients as well, like if you're going on holiday through like like I always call things like a block or a phase, like so a training block for me. So say for example, I'm training towards Hyrox, right? And then we go on holiday during that training block, if you like. I always try and see it as like a spin on it and go, this is actually great for me because it's actually going to allow my body the rest and recovery that I need to then move the dial forward again.
Yeah,
like
it's a massive
you know what I mean? It's,
refuel, like re-energise, rest.
Relight to fire, like
everything.
One of my online clients just done it recently, like they basically worked so hard on this training block and they took 1 week away where they didn't track. They just made sure that every like kind of bit of food they were having was like a protein based source. They just got their steps in, made sure they were drinking plenty of water, actually just switched off from all things like kind of training, nutrition, all that kind of stuff, and they've come back even hungrier than ever because they're like, I'm ready for that.
You miss the routine, you miss that, and how amazing is that to be able to do that? Go away on holiday and enjoy that part, and then miss the routine and come back because you want to get back to, eating your usual foods and also training and getting that intensity back. It is amazing. So I think that's the thing. So Triform over the summer, and then we've got probably another games day or some sort of games event, and then we lead into like the Christmas. And so what a year of like really exciting things. And then dotted within that, we've obviously got the end of the Hyrox season coming up to the summer, and then the start of the new season already fading in over the summer, and then to
people are starting to think about that, like Dublin, Cardiff and stuff like that.
Exactly, and then with Hyrox now bringing out the annual calendar, it means that athletes can plan ahead.
You can even plan.
We can plan. It's going to be really game changing, I think. So we've got that on top of we've got people going to Gauntlet, trying different, and then summer is all about 10Ks and marathons and half marathons and things like that as well. So what a great way to almost say you're joining a gym or a group PT environment, but you gain that full year worth of okay, I know what's next, I know what I want to be a part of next. And some clients do some parts as well. It's not like it's all, you have to do it all. Some clients just do the games and then we'll maybe leave the challenge and then do something else. But
it's always there if you need it. That's the beauty of it.
Really
it's always there. You don't need to, as Natalie said, you don't need to do every aspect of it. But something might come round right at the right time where you're starting to dip a little bit, or you feel yourself dipping, and you can just dip your toe in it and then just go for it.
A lot of clients are saying they're buzzing because it does lead up really well for their holidays, and it'll give them something for when they come back too. So yeah, I think, and then we were just touching there on the Hyrox schedule, the like calendar coming out, which is amazing. So it's a good segue into the Hyrox chat. And there's been loads going on in Hyrox.
Yeah, there's obviously, there's a few changes coming out of Hyrox that is obviously going to stir the pot a little bit. So if you don't know, or maybe you probably all know, couple of changes being made. So first one being the flex ticket thing now. So basically where you purchase your ticket, and where before, if you could no longer make it in, like you had to go to like a resale site or try and sell it to someone, and then do the name change and all that kind of stuff. The way they've done it now is they've gave you this flex thing where it's almost like an insurance type thing where you pay for your ticket. I think it's an extra £10 or something for this flex, and basically that allows you, I think it's up to a week before you can cancel.
I don't know what the small print is.
I'm pretty sure the way I read it today was you can cancel for the full refund up till a week before. If it's like a couple of days out, you get 50% refund, the way it works.
Right.
The way it's kind of changing the game a little bit though is you can no longer do like the name changes and stuff like that. So where you've got like kind of these third party.
That's as of what we know now.
Yeah. So with these third party like sales sites and stuff like that, where you used to be able to say, oh, I'm looking to sell a ticket or whatever, you could jump on there, somebody could buy it off you and you do a name change. I think that's starting to change now, where from a Hyrox perspective, I don't think it's required anymore. Like if you can just do it all in-house. So that's the first change. The second change is now your wristband, your athlete wristband, no longer allows you access for the full weekend. It's only the day of your race. I think that's the one that's probably going to be more controversial than.
Yeah, they haven't actually announced it. It's just been in the small print.
No, it was in the small print. So it was in the small print. We got an email. We're obviously an affiliated gym, and we got an email about the Birmingham race getting launched soon. I think it's actually getting launched this month, I think, for tickets, early bird. And in the very, very bottom, in the small print, it basically said that your athlete wristband no longer allows you access for the full weekend. You have to pay. It only allows you access to the day of your race. If you want to go and see someone else on a separate day, so for example, if I was racing the Saturday and Natalie was racing the Sunday, I would have to pay for a spectator ticket, whereas before
I would have to pay a spectator ticket.
I would never have to do it.
Yeah.
We're lucky in a way that we always race the same day, to be fair.
Usually, yeah. But it is changing now.
Yeah.
Like, because the events are getting bigger. Like, you could have raced, well, you did. You raced on the Saturday and the Thursday. Yeah. So, and I only raced on the Thursday. Well, and the Saturday, but I think when I initially saw it, like, as someone who, like, as a gym, firstly, that is a training club that's affiliated, it's frustrating that it's not been kind of communicated well enough. I think the next kind of part to that is we're affiliated because we really value we really value Hyrox. We value the affiliation as a training club. We value being a part of the community. A lot of our members are now part of the community in some way, shape or form.
Yeah.
And also we are regular customers of Hyrox. So like initially you're a bit like, oh my God, they're just rinsing us for everything that we can kind of do. It's already pretty expensive to take part in it. And also because both you and I take part in it, plus all of our clients. Yeah. Like if we are at an event over the weekend and say we've got clients racing across the full weekend and we've done our races, like we then have to, both you and I want to support all of our members at some point. So it takes our household spend for Hyrox and it just bolts on and bolts on. Even the insurance part, and you bolt on the insurance, you bolt on the cost of the spectator tickets.
And there's an Elite 15 race you want to
see. And the Elite 15 race, because we want to support the Elite 15. Yep. Ultimately, you want to see it. You want to like analyse it and see what's going on. We want to support the athletes that are in those lineups, but also like it's our sport and we enjoy watching it and being a part of it and everything about it. So it does feel really frustrating, but at the same time, being a small business owner, you know, who's going through all of the changes in terms of, you know, prices going up and the impacts on, we're a small business, so the impacts on small businesses is pretty significant. But I'm sure that on a larger scale, you just take what we are doing and you just put it on a larger scale. They're still facing the same challenges as us. So you try and be so level-headed with it, knowing that, you know, if you want to take part in it, then you're just going to have to suck it up and, you know, and budget for it. Yeah. But also, we've got to understand that Hyrox being a training club, it impacts our business in terms of our clients then having to deal with that as well.
Yeah.
So it is pretty challenging because it sounds like I'm on the fence, and I'm not, because I can see it from all sides of the coin.
Yeah, look from it both ways.
It is trying to see it from that point. So from like, and we've said this before, if you've been a part of something where there's been a lot of change, the change is difficult, and it's frustrating and annoying, most likely.
I think because it's all came at the same time as well. But I think if they'd done it over the course of like one season, do you know what I mean? Like, but I get it in a way where they're obviously still a new sport building.
And they're also trying to like mimic other sports and other large scale events. If we were to go to the Olympics, for example, we would have to pay for every different sport, or we'd have to pay for every separate day to attend and spectate. So I understand why they're doing that, fine. It's just frustrating as people who are part of the journey and the change. But anyone who's new to the sport will not know any different. So they'll know what they're signing up for in terms of the outgoings and the financial commitment to that. Yeah, I think that's my position on it, is that it is frustrating as a consumer. Everything is going up, but at the same time, I can see it from a business point of view, whether you're a small business like us or a large scale business like Hyrox. You know, at the end of the day, it is business. Yeah. And also, you know, there's got to be a reason and a purpose behind it. I don't anticipate.
I heard like, I don't know how true it is, but I did hear that one of the things they did consider, like they had to take into consideration, is obviously if you imagine each venue should technically have a certain capacity. Now, with the sport growing as rapidly as it has, I mean, you only need to go to a UK event sometimes to realise how, I mean, look at Manchester, how rammed that was as a spectator.
But even even the course is rammed.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is, if, like, you let me speak about the spectating side of things. So the spectating side of things, like, I remember in Manchester, it took us like 40 minutes just to cross, to get out. Do you know what I mean? It took us ages to try and get out. So, and that's not to say, like, so for example, right, so in Manchester, we were all there, but we weren't like, do you know what I mean? Like, we were athletes essentially. So one of the things that they were saying was, what they're trying to do is they're trying to separate it so that there's only a set amount that can go per day to spectate, if that makes sense, rather than being athletes of all the full weekend being able to access. Because then how do you, I suppose from a safety standpoint, how do you manage that? If everybody like did turn up, so say for example all the athletes and all the spectators that bought maybe the full weekend package all go on the same day, like surely there's got to be a bottleneck there somewhere. But I don't know, I just heard that was one of the things that they had to consider. I
can totally appreciate that that point of view as well. I think it's good to speak about it. It's a big part of our business. It's also a big part of our livelihood.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean, like, obviously there is a bit of an uproar about it now, and I totally understand. Like, from our standpoint, it's frustrating as well, as Natalie said. It's like, I'll be honest with you, I don't really want to be paying more, but at the same time, it's like, you've got to, the way I kind of see it is like, if this is the sport I want to get in, then I just need to kind of roll with the punches. I just need to do it. That's it. Like, I can complain to you about it. I can complain to, you know what I mean? I can complain to anybody about it, like, oh, it's more money or whatever, but at the same time, I'll still do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's the thing from their standpoint. It's like, complain about it.
But you're either part of it or
you're either part, you're not. They're going to keep moving anyway. So, like, either do it or don't. Like,
and I've got a question, I suppose, and maybe something Hyrox can reach out to us and let us know. But then, how does that impact so you were saying there about the tickets not being able to change name, right? And we know so many people who managed to obtain tickets in the weeks or the months in the running up to event because they didn't get one.
Yeah, like me for Glasgow.
Yeah, and they didn't get one in the like sale.
Yeah.
So my question would then be like, have they considered like how that's going to impact the sale of the tickets on the day? Do you know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
then
the
everybody
demand.
who would have waited,
The demand's going to be
the demand's going to be
10 times higher.
massive on the day for the for the
already is.
pre-sale and the sale. And then there's going to be so many disappointed people, and I'm sure there'll be like a second, I don't know, like a second sale maybe in the months before. Like I'm assuming that, but we don't know because they're working it out as well. I could only imagine what it's like being in their shoes, in their offices going, because of the scale and the growth of the business over the past, like even the past 18 to 24 months, like they're trying to keep up with the demand. So yes, they're going to miss things on the way, and yes, they're going to make decisions at the time that they feel is right that maybe haven't thought about all elements. So I totally understand that. But at the same time, as a consumer, like we don't have a lot of even just as a training club, we don't have a lot of connections with Hyrox to be able to give that feedback loop, to be able to, you know, have that community feel. I think Hyrox is moving more to a following. And then you've got like the UK events are more of a community. And then the gyms are obviously the main community. But like I feel like it is separating itself into a brand, and then maybe the whole, there's no feedback. We can't give any feedback to Hyrox to be like, listen guys, like have you considered the fact that for Cardiff, we couldn't get any tickets for our clients and we are an affiliated club.
No.
You know, and so that's really frustrating. Why do we pay our money then? Because that's probably the only thing that we get out of it.
Yeah,
you know, and the branding.
We don't use anything else for it.
And to be able to say that we do Hyrox sessions. So like I think I think Hyrox just has so much influence and impact on all the brands and businesses around it that it does, their decision making does then filter. There is like that, what do you call it, like when a drop hits the water and the ripple effect, like the ripple effect on the other businesses and everyone around has to be massively considered. And that's why community, I suppose, us connecting with other Hyrox gyms or, you know, with the wider founders and networking within this space is going to be so key to everyone kind of staying on top of it, because it's rapidly changing year on year, and it is exciting, but it's also
Carnage.
Yeah, carnage. Yeah. So, and then the other thing that's been added is the new carpets. Not carpets, the new AstroTurfs.
The new sled track,
Yeah. And it's quite good because for a while we were considering changing our track to the carpet.
Yeah.
It's a good thing we didn't.
We were. But then I suppose, like, if you are a gym that's done that, then I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing, because it's like, so there's been, people have asked me about it, like what my thoughts and opinions are. Obviously I don't have one just now because I've not used them, but at the same time it's just one of the ones where, again, you just kind of need to roll with it, and it's like, nobody at this point, it's like, the beauty of it is like nobody knows what it's like.
No.
That's the beauty of it. It's like nobody knows what they're going up against. It's not as if some people have tried it and know, you know what I mean, they've got the advantage. Nobody has a clue, and it's not getting rolled out until World Championships. So I think it's one of the ones where, like, if you are concerned about it, like, so I've said a couple of people in here, like, I think the biggest thing you could probably do is train for both, which we do anyway. Like, I mean, even for my own training, I'll train heavy sleds, I'll train lighter sleds, because what you want to be able to do is be able to cope on the run after the sled regardless. Because sometimes, like, obviously in previous races and stuff like that, you'll go some places and the sled feels as if it does not move at all, or like the flooring underneath it, like in Glasgow for example, there was like sticking parts and stuff like that where you have to give that a wee bit more of a fight. Whereas you go to other venues and it's like, I mean, I remember London Olympia last year, like running into it, and I was like, as soon as I touched it, I was like, fucking hell, we're having a party here. But at the same time, coming off that is completely different, like you run after it. So if you come onto a heavy sled, you imagine the run after it is going to be completely different to going on a faster sled. It's like two different muscle fibres you're using essentially into it. One's more explosive, one's more nitty gritty, and like kind of having to put up a bit of a fight. I do think that if it's anything like the Astro that you normally get in normal gyms, like for example ours or whatever, or that you see in regular gyms, I do think the times are going to come down massively in terms of the sled push and pull, which I mean, I feel since they brought out the new sleds even, I feel like the sled push in particular, the times are ridiculous right now, like so fast.
Yeah.
I feel like that's made a massive change, and I feel like if it is going to be like the Astro that you see, not like kind of regular gyms or whatever, they don't have the carpet, I feel like the sled times are just going to be even quicker.
Yeah.
Like, in particular the push, I think the pull's still going to be that kind of give and take, because obviously the rope and the elasticity of the rope still kind of plays havoc with some people. But I think the sled push in particular, I think you're going to start getting it like sub 2 minutes every time, like even people that normally...
I think so.
Yeah, I think
I don't know, yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? When you start to make big changes like that, then the race is going to change. But again, as part of being a growing sport and a sport that's evolving,
I think we'd argue
until
it
it
is.
finds its kind of where's the sweet spot.
There's a sweet spot. I think the thing that I agree with is that what they've said is it should make it a more level playing field across all the races. So if you go to like a certain one that's got like an older carpet, for example, then you know you're coming up against a hard slog or whatever. But they're saying that this Astro should make it fairer across the board, and more consistent across the board. So it means that I hate saying like faster courses and slower courses, but it means that, you know, going into a side push, there's not going to be one that, for example, if you look at my push times in Paris in comparison to my push times in like London, etc., like there's a massive difference, like a minute of difference. I think that will start to bleed that out a wee bit. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I think it's good as well. Like, I think, in my opinion, I think it would probably be better trialling it before the World Championships.
Yeah. Starting a new season.
Yeah, probably starting a new season. But I think as well, like, from my standpoint, I would never use something. So for example, our games, right, and I know it's not obviously, it's a much lesser scale, but our games final, for example, I would never bring a new bit of kit in that hasn't been tested and then go, because I wouldn't know how it would work. I don't know how the session would flow, etc. So, and you don't know if there's going to be any fuck ups. In my opinion, it's like with the World Championships, especially when it's Elite 15 go, it's live, innit? They're streaming it live. So if anything does go wrong, it's like everybody in the world is going to see it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how many times is like a rollers failed or a skier's failed at the championships and it looks horrific. So yeah, I think it would be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to trying them. I'm not gonna lie, like, yeah, I think it's quite good. Like, I actually think it's to my advantage because I'll try them before the start of the new season, so I'll know what to expect. So, yeah.
Exciting. Be nice to see it all unfold. I still need to get my spectator ticket for Chicago.
Chicago to get that done. Yeah.
Need to get that sorted. So yeah, that's there's a lot going on in the Hyrox world.
Yeah. And I think they'll still.
And I think this time of year, every year for the next few years, there's going to be something.
There's going to
something different.
There's always going to be a bit of movement.
Yeah, I think so. But
I think even because they've just announced as well, as of yesterday, I think it was, they've announced that their new strategy for hosting the championships is now going to go to bids.
Oh.
Where they previously, like, so for example, this year, they've decided it's going to go to Chicago, obviously, the powers that be, but the way they're doing it for next season is it's basically countries and cities can bid for it.
It's a Commonwealth Games and a Olympics again. They've been sitting, that's how they set it up in the first place. They looked at other sports and they just made decisions.
So yeah,
of like,
if you want to go to the World Championships next year, I would suggest looking at flights to Saudi or Dubai.
That's your prediction?
I think, I mean, when it comes to, if it's a financial thing, then I don't think anybody can top that.
But then at the same time, it could also not just be financial, it could be
exposure and stuff.
Like stadiums or like venues.
Well, people have said Warsaw would be a great one because obviously it's in the stadium. Like, Warsaw looked incredible, but I think if it's coming to a bidding thing, and if it does come down to a financial thing, it's got to be Saudi or Dubai, so.
Here we go.
It'll be another exciting one.
Good fun. So home life. Yeah. Again, like, it's what's going on?
It's wild.
Aye, so we're not getting much sleep still.
Yeah, Molly's still going through a wee phase.
She's going through a phase where she's up screaming through the night still. So that's going on. Harper, oh, that's what I was going to tell you about Harper and our bike names.
Yeah.
So she's got 2 bikes. She's got one with pedals on it and one that's a balance bike. So she said to me, Mummy, what? So see how my yellow bike is called Stitch? She said she was playing on our band's bike.
She actually just didn't make it, but she says it's on the.
It's got Stitch written on it. Yeah. So she said to me, what's this bike called? And I said, Rapid.
Yeah,
it does have Rapid on it. And I said, like your daddy's Rapido. She said, my daddy's Rapido. In the back garden where everyone can hear.
Yeah, so I'm no longer allowed to pick her up for nursery.
And I'm like that, no, daddy's Rapid.
Let's just say daddy's fast. I think that will just cut off that key. That's
But she's going through this thing of going fast at the moment. Like, see in the car, she'll be like that, Mum, where are we zooming to today? Rooming today.
Yeah. There's certain words that she believes that she's saying right, that it's just like a wee change in it.
Yeah, she changes it, so she says rooming.
And then bowl. So for a bowl, Harper's always said this, right? So if Harper asks for a bowl of cereal, she says a bowl of cereal. I don't actually know where she got that from, but she says a bowl of cereal. So yeah, there's certain wee words.
Then our nephew Ovalar,
yeah, he calls him Ovalar.
I will be so sad the day that she starts calling
saying it. Yeah. I think she will.
Because he literally, since she could talk, was all of Ovalar.
Yeah.
I'll be absolutely
parents will know. Your kids have these wee words for different words that.
Harperisms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
She's coming on, and she like her chat and her questions now, and she's
intelligent.
She's talking a lot about school.
She's a cheeky wee shite and all.
Oh my God.
She's in this phase now where she keeps wearing sunglasses, and it is driving me fucking insane.
I don't know why it's annoying me so much.
Do you know why it's annoying me, right? It's the sassy, right? So she wears these glasses, and then she's becoming a cheeky wee shite where, like, this is sass. Like,
it was.
You said I was going to get the bouncy castle out with these stupid glasses on. Or the other day when she hit Molly, right? So I was sitting in the living room and I just heard this like skin to skin contact, and I was like, who the fuck was that? So I shouted. I actually need to apologise to Molly first of all, because I thought it was her, because it's normally her. And then Harper looking through, this is what happened, and she had the glasses on, and it was love heart glasses, right? So she's obviously just
Elton John.
She's obviously just slapped Molly, right? But she comes around with these glasses on, and I'm like, Harper, what happened? And she's just standing there like nothing. And I was like, Harper, what happened? Nothing. So I was like, get these stupid glasses off and tell me exactly what just happened. Because it's a sassy, just standing there with these fucking sunglasses on, like, nothing. She wasn't fucking talking to you.
She was sitting at the dining table the other day, and she went, Mom, you forgot my water.
I know.
And I was like, talk to me like that one more time, and this water's going to be flung out the window.
Cheeky shite. And then that's what annoys me about it, because when she is cheeky, right, so see when she's cheeky, I can handle it a little bit, right, because I just say to her, stop being cheeky. But see when she's cheeky with the glasses on, it's like,
I'm going to buy another pair just in case she loses them, because she's really attached to them.
Honestly. But yeah, that's...
And she's also got a book as well now that she takes to bed with her as well. And we're also toilet training through the night, which is carnage. Yeah. Absolute carnage.
Life's just carnage. Just every time we do a home segment, just know it's going to be carnage.
I know. But then so many parents have resonate. Like, so many parents have like messaged to say like, thank you, because that's exactly what's going on in my house, or I've experienced that.
It normalises the craze.
It totally does. Like,
sometimes you feel as if you're the only one that happens to. I think it just magnifies the fact that we're three. Like, when I speak to people and they say, oh, my wee one done this, and they were mental and that, and I'm like, yeah, no. And then they go, well, you get 3.
Oh no, times 3.
Yeah.
You seem to be the only kind of... Callan's just started crawling this week.
Yeah, he started crawling, yeah.
And he's got 2 teeth as well, 2 big changes.
So that's another thing that's absolutely mental because he just doesn't stop. And then he keeps getting himself, so he does this thing where he crawls for so long, gets lazy, starts like doing like almost like a sausage roll, like a side roll, and then manages to get himself stuck underneath the couch. And 9 times out of 10 when you come into living room, you'll just see his neck, because his body is underneath the couch, you'll just see he's poking it like a turtle. Just fucking stuck. So yeah, that's Callum.
Aren't you?
You
Just
get 2 teeth.
like chilling under the sofa and crawling.
He does this mad thing, because he's got 2 teeth, he does this mad thing with his tongue to flick his teeth, doesn't he? I wasn't going to try and demonstrate it, but hopefully we get a close-up of that one. And with a face like that, you can see why we had 3.
Good fun, isn't it? Look at him. That's that one. Wrapped up.
That's that episode done. So hopefully you enjoyed it. If you made it this far, hopefully you enjoyed listening to our delicate tones on your run, on your walks or whatever. As always, like, share and subscribe because it's greatly appreciated.
Massively.
The more we get out there, the better. It's actually really nice to hear people enjoying it and stuff like that, because a lot of times you're just chatting shite. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that episode, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Yeah, thank you.